Guess what? If you're cruising out of the Galveston cruise terminal, hang around with Old School so I can kind of give you that information on how to get here from the airports. What are some of the better hotels or some of the hotels to stay in, and parking. Hang around to the end, and Old School will have a lot more information on you cruising out of Galveston, Texas. So stick with me.
I did a lot of research before I found a place to park our cars for our cruise out of Galveston. We ended up going with discount cruise parking. They only charged $70-something, and the shuttle was included to and from the ship. They're literally right across the block. Very friendly. Going on another cruise in January, and I will be using them again. Oh, and don't forget to leave a tip.
Okay, so when you're going online to reserve your parking for the Port of Galveston, you have a whole bunch of options available to you. So I'm gonna give you guys my 2 recommendations for when you are cruising out of the Port of Galveston and you need somewhere to park. And I'm also gonna share with you a little bonus tip. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so my first recommendation should come obvious to you guys is the Port of Galveston. The Port of Galveston has about 14 to 15 lots available for each of their cruise terminals, and I'm gonna go through a couple of them and just give you guys the prices. So for Terminal 10, this is where Royal Caribbean docks their cruise ships. So if you're selling on Harmony of the Seas, Mariner of the Seas, Symphony of the Seas after in March, or Liberty of the Seas, I think when spring rolls around. These are going to be your rates. So you are looking at about $25 to $32 per day, and this does not include taxes and fees. So for a 7-day cruise, I'm just looking at my cruise stuff.
All right, guys, let me kind of help you out on a lot of these cruise parking places here in Galveston. You have 5 main brand ones, which is the port parking, which is going to be right across the street from the cruise ships. I mean, it's right there within walking distance. Then you have the Easy Cruise parking lot, which is on 2727 Santa Fe Place in Galveston. Let me back up. That port parking address is 202 37th Street in Galveston. And then you have the Lighthouse Parking, which he's going to talk to you about there. That's located at 309 29th Street in Galveston. You have the Patriot Parking. And that's near the Port of Galveston, which is almost directly across the street from the cruise ships. And you have the Galveston Parking Cruise, which is 2514 New Strand Street, and Discount Parking, which is going to be near the harbor. Royal Caribbean also has their own brand new spanking, I think it's 5, 6, or 7, I hadn't counted them, level brand new parking spot. And it's nice. It's real nice. If you're going to park right in front of the Royal Caribbean cruise ship, you'll be good to go on that one.
You are looking at a range of $177.59 all the way up into $223.05, and that does not include taxes and fees. If you are cruising out of Terminal 16, where Norwegian Cruise Line and MSC will be docking starting in November, you are looking at around the same cost at about $25 to $32 per day, with prices ranging from $185.16 all the way up into $253.36. And then finally, you have Terminal 25 and 28. This is primarily where Carnival, Disney, and Princess docks out of. So with them, you are looking at about $26 to $28 per day, and you are looking at a range of $177.59 all the way up into $200.32. And like I said, this does not include taxes and fees. Now let's move on to option number 2. Option number 2 is Lighthouse Parking. Okay, so for Lighthouse Parking, you're looking at about $22 per day for covered parking and then $20 a day for uncovered parking. So for your 7-day cruise, you're looking at about $140 for uncovered, and I think $155 for covered parking. So whether you choose the Port of Galveston or you choose Lighthouse Parking, let me give you guys the easiest way to get the best price. So for the Port of Galveston, what you're going to do is you're going to go over to their Facebook page, because that's where they post all their promo codes. So right now for 2025, as of September 2025, the promo code is Labor Day 25, and you get $10 off your parking. Or if you're selling on Symphony of the Seas, they have, I think, Cruise Parking 25, and it gives you $5 off. However, let me give you a way that you can save I think it's $10 more on parking. So my other little secret tip that I don't know if everybody knows about this, but create an account with the Port of Galveston. When you create that account, they will give you a $10 credit to use towards parking. And the thing about it is, you don't have to use it all. So if you want to use $5 of that, you can use $5. If you want to use $2 of that, you can use $2. If you want to use all of it, use all of it. So if you take that and you stack it with the coupon that you get from Facebook, you get $20 off your parking. And not only that, since you create an account, you also are a loyalty member. So every time that you cruise and you choose the Port of Galveston, you will obviously start racking up points. And then finally, for Lighthouse Parking, all you gotta do is go over to their website,
And let me explain something else to you, out-of-town guests. Usually you don't have to wait that long for a shuttle here in Galveston. I mean, they have those things all over the place. So don't be deceived in thinking you're going to be out there in that hot sun. And believe it or not, folks, it gets extremely hot here in Galveston. Yeah, but you won't be waiting. You won't be waiting long for your bus to pick you and your luggage up and take you to your destination, which is one of those very large cruise ships.
Getting to get in, so you need to wait, right?
No, I'm not waiting. See ya.
Now, at the time I think this video was taken, Royal Caribbean did not have that parking garage, a new one, which is right off to the right of this video. But right now, it's finished, and they are definitely using it. As I stated, it's very beautiful and very convenient, and right there within walking distance, maybe not even 100 feet, or 100 feet.
Like,
As you get over your This is a pretty terminal. Good parade.
We are in Galveston, headed to Royal Caribbean's port to board Harmony of the Seas right now. So we are going to go drop our bags first before going to our parking spot, and I'm going to tell you all about it. You definitely want to reserve your parking ahead of time. We picked the north lot, which is the closest to Royal Caribbean's terminal. So really, once you drop your bags, you go park and you walk straight into the terminal. It could not be quicker. Now you can definitely find parking that is further away, probably for cheaper, and you can take a shuttle and they'll drop you off at the front doors. But we always choose to park as close as possible because once we get off the ship, we can walk straight to our car, throw our luggage in, and head home. So if you want to reserve your parking, you're going to go to portofgalveston.com. It's Galveston Wharves, and they're in charge of all the cruise parking. So no matter if you're Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Disney, doesn't matter. They will book all of your parking as well as if you want to park within the Port of Galveston. So we're going to do that. We already got it. We have our QR code. So when we pull up to the gate, we just scan that in. It's already prepaid. And we go find our parking spot. The port here in Galveston with Royal Caribbean is beautiful. They built a brand new one a couple of years ago to really house these Oasis class ships, these larger ships. And now that we have it, it is really just the best.
Oh, and since you mentioned that, let me explain something else. Port of Galveston is expanding. They are in the works of building even a larger port for even larger cruise ships. So we're going to be in competition with those guys down there in Florida if we keep this going.
Here in Galveston, I believe. So come with us as we go board Harmony of the Seas.
So I have a question for people who have cruised out of Galveston, Texas. And I only started learning about Galveston as a cruise port a couple of months ago. I was completely unaware of how popular Galveston actually was when it came to cruising. Now, the nearest airport to Galveston is actually about an hour away in Houston, so I wanted to know, is it better for me to fly into Houston the day before the cruise and just stay the night in Houston and drive, like call an Uber the morning of the cruise? Or is it better for me to fly into Houston and just go straight into Galveston and stay in Galveston overnight? I have no...
Okay, let Old School answer that for you. If you're flying in to Houston Intercontinental Airport or George H.W. Bush Airport, which is the same thing, I would advise getting here a day or two early and booking a hotel somewhere in Galveston. That way you're getting a double vacation. You get an opportunity to go down on the seawall and look at the ocean. They have a lot of different things you can do there, and eating establishments from Katie's Seafood to Landry's to just about anything you can imagine is down there on that seawall. So as far as the stress, I would advise you, if you're flying in to take a cruise out of Galveston, definitely take an Uber or whatever you have to and have them drive you to Galveston if you don't have your own car. Now, to get to Galveston from Intercontinental is going to be about 75 miles. Yeah, 75 miles. And the best way to get to Galveston would be, and your Uber driver would know that, would be to take the Beltway east to 45 South. And it's a straight shot. Once you get off on 45 South, it's going to be about 50 or 60 more miles. If you're coming out of Hobby Airport, it's almost the same thing. You get on 45 and you take 45 South. In both scenarios, you get off on Harbor Drive just as you cross over the bridge, which is that large, very large bridge that crosses over the water. And just as you get on the opposite side, you're going to get in your right-hand lane, take that first exit, which is Harbor side. You will go to the traffic light and make that first left, and just keep driving about another 5 miles. You have a lot of scenery there until you see those big old large cruise ships right there on your left-hand side. Now, for those of you that I would strongly advise, once you get off, there's going to be parking lots all over the place. I strongly advise to wait and not use those parking lots because they're about 5 miles from the cruise ship. And as I stated before, when you get to your ship, there are parking lots all over the place, so parking would not be a problem.
Problem flying into Houston and going straight to Galveston and staying the night. It's just the fact that I would like to check out Houston just a little bit before I go on my cruise. I'm from New York and I've actually taken a cruise leaving from New York City on the MSC Meraviglia, which you can see under my cruise playlist. I don't live in New York City, I live on Long Island, so the city's only about 45 to an hour away from me. I didn't go to the city the night before, I just called an Uber the day of and it was only about 45 minutes and I got to the cruise port early. But I'm not from Texas, I'm from New York and I don't know what Texas traffic is like. I don't know if calling an Uber the day of would be smart leaving from Houston. So let me know in the comments, y'all, if you've cruised.
Now, they mentioned the traffic. This is why I say leave early, because here in Houston, from Houston to Galveston, they are still working on the freeway system. They've been working on that thing since I was a little kid back in the 50s. And here it is, 50-some years later, and they're still working on it. That's why I strongly advise to get here a day or two early, so you can go out and you can venture and look at Houston and then drive to Galveston and get a hotel there. And there are plenty of hotels in Galveston, real nice, right on the seawall where you're looking right at the ocean. So that old school will strongly advise doing it that way. And from Hobby Airport, there's parking lots there, but you want to try to get to Galveston. So you're going to do the same thing. Drive into Galveston, find you a nice hotel, stay in there overnight, and do as I just explain, and I guarantee you're going to really enjoy cruising and you're going to enjoy your mini vacation at the same time.